The Cleveland Browns upset Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now Mike Tomlin moves to 2-9 in road Thursday night football games. Jameis Winston, 18 of 27, 210 yards, one rushing touchdown, one interception. Russell Wilson had a pretty good game, 21 of 28, 270 passing yards, one touchdown, no picks. It seemed like it was a really good defensive matchup. Myles Garrett, 3 sacks on the day, but it came down to it. The Browns took the lead in the game's final minute with Nick Chubb taking in his second touchdown of the day, and the Steelers on their last possession simply ran out of time. They had a Hail Mary where George Pickens decided to, instead of actually try for the Hail Mary,
you just watched it.
No, decided to get into a boxing match with, I think, Greg Newsome. So not a great look, and I want to play this clip right now because this was George Pickens on the Cleveland Browns and on this game. Take a listen.
What do you guys try to take away from this loss? What's the message, in the locker room?
Just keep grinding. Like I said, conditions played a huge, huge part in today's game. I don't really think the Cleveland Browns are a good team at all. I think the conditions kind of saved them today.
So then here's my question. What was your reaction? We heard George Pickens. Browns aren't a good team. Conditions played a massive part in this game. I want to know what's your reaction to the Browns' upset over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, just to comment on Pickens there, guess what, George? The other team had the same conditions, right? It's
Bingo.
Not, it doesn't, just because you didn't like the conditions, everyone had those conditions, not just you. It wasn't just the Steelers that were fighting those conditions. The Browns were too, and they found a way to win the game. So it's just sour grapes. My takeaways here, first snowball of the year, right? That was kind of cool watching that, actually. I kind of like games like that. I'd say it was a trap game for the Steelers, who should have known better after they beat the Ravens, that big Ravens win. Then they go in and get beat by the Browns, who got demolished by the Saints. Come on, what are you thinking? And the Browns have beat the Ravens and the Steelers, right? They only have they have 3 wins, right? Two of them are to their big division opponents, who are great teams. So it's hard to understand that, which leads to my other takeaway here. A stunning victory for the Browns, ending Steelers' 5-game winning streak. Yeah, that's big. And so some analysis here of the Browns win. They'd blown a 12-point lead. They were ahead 18-6 in the fourth quarter, and were down 19-18. Got the ball back with 3:22 left. After Jameis Winston threw an interception, which looked to be the killer, right? But they got the ball back, and then they held them. And Pittsburgh's punter, Corliss Waitman, shanked a 16-yard kick, and that gave the Browns great field position. They 45-yard drive. Jameis Winston, some nice passes on that drive. Did they have a fourth down on that? Yeah, they did. They threw one to Judy, and he caught it. It was a low pass, but he managed to get it. And then Chubb ran it in, and there was only 57 seconds left. And Wilson's Hail Mary on the final play was knocked down by the safety there, Grant Dilpit, in the end zone. I'd say despite the disastrous season, the pressure on Stefanski probably is a little less now after victories over the Steelers and the Ravens. Garrett had 3 sacks in the game, as you mentioned. They were all in the first half. Winston there, 2 turnovers, a strip sack by Nick Herbig, his second one in 2 weeks. He'd done that pretty good, leading to that 19-yard TD pass from Wilson to Austin. And then Winston also threw that interception to Dante Jackson, which looked like that could be the end of the game, but they held, got the ball back, did the 45, lucky to get that that shank punt for 16 yards, brought the ball back down and managed to score. So it was big. It was an exciting game.
I would completely agree with you. This was the Browns defense that we saw last year, because there were a number of phenomenal plays. Obviously, Myles Garrett, the 3 sacks, but also I want to give credit to Dalvin Tomlinson, 10 total pressures, 8 quarterback hurries. He was disturbing Russell Wilson all night. But this is now The second straight game, and I understand the numbers look good, but ineffective offense on the Steelers' part. You score the first touchdown of the game in the fourth quarter to Jameis Winston? Jameis Winston is the other quarterback, and you're only able to score your first touchdown in the fourth quarter. The offensive line should be better than this, and it has been throughout the year. The offensive line for the Steelers has had some really good moments. But also, Mike Tomlin, everyone considers him a phenomenal coach, and he is. He's one of the best home underdog coaches in NFL history. But on the road, being the favorite on Thursday Night Football, he's 2-9. His team averages 19.6 points and gives up 23 points, and he has a negative turnover differential. He's lost 9 of the last 10 road Thursday Night Football games. Could it be he really likes the long time, the week to prepare, and these short weeks aren't that great for him? Maybe, because he had some very costly calls in this one. He squandered 3 timeouts with just questionable timing. The first one he burned late in the third quarter, while the remaining 2 were really inopportune moments during the last 2 minutes, with really one timeout with, 35 or 45 seconds left in the game to go essentially the length of the field. So Mike Tomlin did not do a good job coaching whatsoever. Also, bringing out Justin Fields in questionable situations. There was a 4th and 2 that he came out in. And I understand that, having a super mobile backup quarterback could be interesting in some certain packages, but we've seen Justin Fields be a pretty decent thrower in this season. And the first couple plays, he was used primarily as like a wildcat player, as a snap the ball QB draw. So once you're out there for the first couple times and you look at Justin Fields and all he's doing is taking the snap and running it, you kind of know what's coming. It's kind of like the Lamar Jackson 2-point conversion. It's like, well, if you have Justice Hill to your right and Lamar Jackson's the quarterback and you got wide receivers and tight ends lined up in the slot, no one's out wide really. Well, there could be 2 things. One, it'll be a rollout pass or Lamar Jackson's going to take it because nobody's going to fear Justice Hill on the 2-yard line. And this is kind of a similar situation. So yeah, we heard about these packages with Arthur Smith and Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. And for the Ravens game, it actually worked out beautifully because we saw, the pocket collapse and Russell Wilson has to roll out left or roll out right and sometimes scramble. He's just not quick. You bring out Justin Fields for that, break him to the outside, and it worked pretty nicely. In this game, the Browns, wasn't there a QB sneak that Justin Fields is also a part of? I might be mistaken because there was the 9-yard run and there was a QB sneak in the Ravens game.
But he missed on one. They sent him in there and he couldn't get it.
Right. The 4th and 2 in this game, that was just a bad call. And then I think Russell Wilson handed it off to Jalen Warren on a 4th and 1 or a 4th and 2. That blew up in your face. So some of these calls were just bad.
Yeah.
TJ Watt completely annihilated in this game. Tyler Conklin did a phenomenal job on the offensive line. And this was a Browns offensive line that was banged up and one of the worst in the NFL. Deshaun Watson getting killed in the backfield. But I commend the Cleveland Browns immensely for the amount of effort they put in. Dalvin Tomlinson, Myles Garrett, a combined 18 pressures and 12 quarterback hurries. I mean, Russell Wilson was being tormented in the backfield in this one. So yeah. Props to the Browns.
Yeah, well, the Steelers only got 7 points off 3 turnovers. The first loss for Russell Wilson as a Steeler. And I think the strategy of bringing Justin Fields in, his passing is not I think he can be an okay passer, but he needs to get warmed up.
Yeah.
And when they only put him in there, whatever, like two or three plays a game, and they let him try to throw it, his passes were not good last night. And the Browns were expecting him to run.
Exactly.
So, if you run it, it's going to be tough. He probably won't get it. You pass it, and he's only been out. He hasn't warmed up or anything. The passes don't work. So I'm not so sure bringing him in these situations is such a good idea.
Well, and he even admitted that he was stiff because he was brought in to be that wildcat quarterback run. And then you have him throw one pass, and it wasn't that great. And then
he threw 2 passes.
He threw 2 passes, yeah. And he also had a nice 30-yard run, but before that, it was like some of these decisions to bring him out here is just very, very questionable. But no, good job to the Browns. You win another game. This is the first time in a long time that you beat the Steelers in consecutive games. I believe it's at home. That's the number. Maybe just consecutive games straight up. So Mike Tomlin, he has to sort of fix the Thursday night football, I guess you would call it, scare, because 2-9, you lost 9 of your last 10. That's bad. You're this head coach that is one of the best in NFL history.
The Browns have won 7 in a row on Thursday night.
It's tremendous to look at that.
I think
Jameis Winston's
what my takeaway on that one is the Browns have not been good generally for a long time, right? I mean, last year they got lucky with Flacco and they made the playoffs.
I don't know about lucky. Flacco was pretty damn good.
He had a lot of interceptions.
He did,
right? Yeah,
they'd win comeback player of the year though.
What the teams are thinking, it's a short week. The Browns are not that tough. They're not, the preparation for these teams is not that great, and the Browns are a spoiler, and they managed to win all those games. So I think the Steelers, it was a trap game, and they fell into the trap.
I 100% agree. And now you have to look ahead at more division games because that's how the Steelers' schedule panned out. You're going to face the Browns again, the Bengals. You're going to face the Ravens again. I believe the Chiefs are also a part of your schedule. I mean, this is a very, very hectic schedule moving forward.
How did the Browns lose by 21 points to the Saints?
Taysom Hill.
I don't get it.
And that's kind of what Justin Fields, the Steelers are trying to make Justin Fields, trying to make him that Taysom Hill. The only problem is he doesn't weigh like 230 pounds and has the body of a tight end. Taysom Hill does. Taysom Hill is that sort of utility tight end quarterback run piece. I think Taysom Hill scored 3 total touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns on the
they weren't ready
Browns
for him
last week, and now Justin Fields come in and sort of has that same role. It just wouldn't work like that. Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.